Coming up, Malaysia Tzu Chi volunteers hold 2 Night of Great Love events at Kuantan and Temerloh. In Taiwan, graduating students at Xishan Elementary School in Taipei are going on a 500-kilometer cycling tour. Welcome to Diet Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. We kick off today's program in Taiwan to make sure the Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital will pass the upcoming evaluation. Medical staff sees every opportunity to rehearse as they hope to present exceptional performance. Meanwhile, hospital volunteers also decorated the surrounding environment in hopes of infusing it with Tzu Chi's humanistic spirit.
Making sure the surgical mask and equipment in the emergency room are within the expiry date, medical staff at the Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital are doing a final checkup before the hospital assessment the following day.
We look through different departments to make sure the evaluation will run smoothly tomorrow. We also visited our medical staff to give them our encouragement and told them not to worry.
I want to express my gratitude to all the medical staff for seizing every opportunity to prepare for the upcoming hospital assessment.
Other than preparation by hospital staff, hospital volunteers also arrive early to decorate the place with flowers as they hope to lighten up the atmosphere.
We hope these decorations will help increase the hospital's overall value.
With medical staff and volunteers working hand in hand, the upcoming hospital assessment is sure to be a success.
Also in Taiwan, an incident occurred in Shenyang Township, Hualien County on July 15th, where a 7-year-old boy accidentally fell at home and suffered bone fracture as well as severe bleeding. As the boy lives in a remote mountain area where it lacks telecommunication and transportation, his grandmother couldn't call for help right away. Although she walked 2 kilometers to seek help, the boy unfortunately passed away after arriving at the hospital. Upon learning of the accident, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived to offer their condolences to the bereaved family.
Grieving for her deceased grandson, the grandma is bereaved with sorrow. Upon learning of the family's loss, Tzu Chi volunteers soon arrived to offer the much-needed emotional support.
You have done your best. You're a responsible grandmother. It's not an easy task to look after several grandchildren on your own.
The senior 7-year-old grandson fell from the top of a closet, leaving him with bone fractures and excessive bleeding. However, the grandma was unable to seek immediate assistance because where they live lacks telecommunication and transportation. Thus, she carried the boy and walked 2 kilometers down the mountain to seek help. Unfortunately, the boy passed away upon arrival at the hospital.
We will visit her more often to provide her with emotional support and help her get through this difficult time.
As her husband and children now work out of town, the grandma has to take care of 6 grandchildren on her own. Thankfully, Tzu Chi volunteers will accompany the family through this difficult time and provide further assistance if needed.
Moving to Malaysia, the Tzu Chi Kuantan Liaison Office and the Tzu Chi Temerloh Liaison Office both recently held their Night of Great Love, which attracted a total of 1,000 participants. The events, which were set to promote Diet TV programs and Diet dramas, moved audience members who all vowed to share what they learned with their family and friends. The arrival of Tzu Chi volunteers Liu Jiyu and Jian Cilu, whose life stories were made into diet dramas, as well as singer Yi Jieqi, marks the opening of the Night of Great Love here at Kuantan.
Diet TV is different than other TV channels because it offers educational programs that have a positive message. Through watching the master's teachings, our minds become very peaceful and we do not think about what's troubling us.
Moving to Temerloh, local residents young and old arrived to take part in the night's event. Among them, some are loyal Diet TV audience members, while others are first-timers. Tzu Chi volunteer Fu Huixian used to be a short-tempered person until she watched the Diet drama based on Sister Jian Cilu's story. Soon after she began to rid herself of her bad temper, a positive change her husband can attest to.
I saw that Sister Jian had habits quite similar to mine, yet she was able to become such a great person and give so selflessly. So I thought I can do it too.
She is slowly getting rid of her bad temper and is becoming a more soft-spoken person. Thank you, Tzu Chi.
My thought after watching the show is that I want to take what I have learned here back home and teach my children. After all, teaching kids require patience, time and love. In spreading truth, goodness and beauty, Dai TV aims to create a peaceful and harmonious society.
In China, Sun Hui, a volunteer in Shenyang City, Liaoning Province, established a monthly study group in hopes of spreading Tzu Chi's philosophy in her local community. Showing their support have been Tzu Chi volunteers from Beijing and Tianjin who traveled 800 kilometers each month to share their expertise. As the event has attracted more and more participants over time, the director of Renzhende Center also decided to provide their venue for the study sessions in the future. Here at Shenyang City, Liaoning Province, Tzu Chi volunteers are holding their 5th study group at the Renzhende Center. The director, who recognizes the value of Tzu Chi's work, offered her center as a venue for the monthly event and invited her staff to join as well.
We think that the philosophy and actions of Tzu Chi are great and worth learning from. Last time we went to their study group, we thought the venue was too small. So whenever we don't have class, we provide our classrooms for Tzu Chi's use.
Though having to travel 800 kilometers, Tzu Chi volunteers from Beijing and Tianjin nonetheless make the trip each month as a show of support for their fellow volunteers.
I made a vow that I will give more and learn from Tzu Chi volunteers. I would like to do more charity work.
I think if we gather 200,000 people, it won't just be a stream of purity, but an ocean.
Sun Hui, who funded the study group, is grateful to everyone for making the study sessions possible.
Let us hope that we can find a proper direction in our life, and at the same time, help others find their happiness as well.
Through sharing their stories, Tzu Chi volunteers hope to inspire more to join the Buddhist NGO and make a difference. When Cyclone Nargis hit Myanmar in 2008, Tzu Chi volunteers from neighboring countries like Malaysia and Thailand arrived to help with the recovery efforts. Later, several Tzu Chi liaison offices were established as local volunteers began to join Tzu Chi's ranks. One such volunteer was Shan Mitmin Tu, who is a Tzu Chi care recipient turned Tzu Chi. Knowing his blessings, the young volunteer vows to follow Tzu Chi's footsteps to pay the love forward.
After Tzu Chi officially hands over Myanmar No. 1 High School to the Myanmar government, Tzu Chi volunteers get busy handing out snacks to guests. Tzu Chi, Shai Min Du, stands out from the rest as he hurries to grab cartons from others to stack, or when bowing 90 degrees when giving out bread. Working in this heat, Shin Min Du quickly works up a sweat. Next to him is his mother, who just wants to do more work like her son. As a single parent, his mother didn't have the means to support Shin Min Du and his grandmother. Thus, 2 years ago, Shin Min Du became a Tzu Chi care recipient. Tzu Chi provided him with tuition and tutoring fees, and in the past 2 years, volunteers have not only entered his house, but also his heart.
Everyone has a Buddhist nature and a Buddhist deva, strength and spirit.
Master Zhen Yanxing's aphorisms have had a deep impact on Shin Min Du. Not only do they hang on the walls of his living room, but the Book of Wisdom is also present on his desk when he studies.
When I saw those who were worse off than me, it really changed me. I know we are poor, but there are those out there who don't know when their next meal will be. So I'm very grateful Tzu Chi has helped me.
Knowing he is blessed, Shin Min Du will also tutor children after school. He says he's only following in Tzu Chi's footsteps, as they have taken care of him in the same way.
He doesn't feel inferior to others because he has received assistance like some recipients we come across. He teaches the children to work hard like he does.
When he has free time, Mindu will join volunteers on home visitations. Seeing the selfless dedication of Tzu Chi volunteers, he vows to walk the Tzu Chi path in the future. With the assistance of Tzu Chi, Mindu was able to concentrate on his studies and receive acceptance into college, which makes both his family and Tzu Chi volunteers proud. His mother does her part to help others by saving a handful of rice each day in her rice piggy bank. Mindu is a seed of Tzu Chi, taking root and sprouting in Myanmar. By following the volunteers' footsteps and extending his spirit of great love, he shines bright.
In Taiwan, the 25 graduating students of Xishan Elementary School in Taipei City are taking on a challenge where they will travel some 500 kilometers on their bicycles from the school to Cape Eranbi as part of their graduation trip. It may sound easy, however, many hurdles need to be conquered, and the students have been training since winter vacation. With each practice, students come closer to perfection, and their teacher also hopes that this journey will give them the strength and courage to face future difficulties.
There is no time for fun and games, only students bring their A game. An elementary school with only one class per grade, each year Xishan Elementary School graduates organizes a graduation trip which encompasses a self-challenge. This year, the entire class of 25 are traveling from Taipei to Cape Eranbi, some 500 kilometers on their bicycles.
Today we are aiming for Bali. We have to at least cycle there and back. It's about 60 kilometers.
If they don't have what it takes, how can they move mountains?
We practice over and over and on steep slopes. When we are done with our training, we come for practice. It's just cycling, so I didn't think too much about it initially. I never imagined that some kids would fall off their bikes on their first go. I started to ask myself whether these kids could do it. But then I thought, if we don't try, we will never know.
Stepping outside of the air-conditioned room, everyone is sweating bullets in no time. Even for the well-trained, falling off the bike is inevitable, but dry the tears, dust off the dirt and start over. It's painful, of course, but I have to carry on because I want to get home. In order to ready the team, strict discipline is required from everyone. My cycling skills are still not perfect, but our teacher always tells us how we can avoid getting thrown off the bike and how to change gears. My bike chain used to fall off a lot, but now almost never. Every training is a self-challenge. Every time there is improvement.
It's a little exhausting. I didn't know how to ride a bike before, but now I'm getting better by the day.
I was concerned at first because my daughter is a city kid. She's always at home and doesn't get out a lot. But I was surprised to see that she was able to keep up with the others. The whole team cycled in an orderly and systematic fashion. The teacher has done a great job.
A semester's physical training in addition to classes, the students are ready to step up their game this summer. However, this out-of-the-ordinary graduation trip comes with a lot more pressure attached, especially for their teacher.
I hope they see this journey as a challenge, like conquering a mountain. I want them to see difficulties as opportunities and find ways to overcome their obstacles. This is really the most important purpose of this whole trip.
In just a few months, these students will set off on their challenge. Once living the city life, these children not only have witnessed their own progress, but have found courage and endless possibilities.
Back to Malaysia, students of the Tzu Chi Senior High School in Tainan recently visited the Sungai Buloh leprosarium and a local education center for Burmese refugees with Kuala Lumpur and Selangor Tzu Chi volunteers. Many of the students say through this visit, they realize how lucky they are and promise to help those in greater need when they return home.
Giving seniors warm hugs and their blessings, students and teachers of Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School in Taiwan are here at the Sungai Buloh leprosarium in Malaysia. For years, Kuala Lumpur and Selangor Tzu Chi volunteers have been caring for the senior residents here. During their visits, students accompany and care for the seniors like their own grandparents.
The grandpa had one of his legs amputated, so he can only move around sitting in a chair. His hands don't have the strength to grab things. I feel really bad for him.
Other than singing old songs, senior residents all happily share their stories. Many students were inspired to fulfill their filial duties.
We sang and performed a sign language song for a senior, and she was very moved. I would like to entertain my grandparents like this when I go back home.
Meanwhile, the students also visit an education center for Burmese refugees to teach children how to dance and make spinning tops. The crowded space inside the center has made these Taiwanese students realize their blessings.
When we walked into the small room, there were 70 to 80 students packed in it.
In Taiwan, we always said that our classroom is very crowded, but compared to these children, all of us have enough personal space.
Seeing the suffering of these children, the students of Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School realize how fortunate they are, and they promise to cherish their blessings from this moment on.
In Taiwan, a Tzu Chi summer camp for elementary school students from Shenzhen and Taiwan kicked off on July 12, and the theme of the 8-day camp was focused on ecology and environment. The event gave these students hands-on experience in sorting recyclables and a message that they can spread once back home.
I bought some fries and a cup of tea. Look, the clerk gives me a plastic bag to take away. How lovely.
Is it necessary to take plastic bags provided by shops? Tzu Chi volunteers toss out this question to encourage students to think about the relationship between their daily life and the environment. Looking to enhance their environmental awareness, elementary students from China, Shenzhen, are on an exchange visit to Taiwan.
During the 8-day summer camp, we try to teach our students the importance of environmental protection and our ecosystem. We hope that they will bring these ideas back home and spread them in their schools.
The schools in Shenzhen have also started promoting environmental education. We hope to teach the younger generation important environmental knowledge.
Through hands-on experience, the students can better understand how to practice recycling.
Practicing recycling is a meaningful activity. It not only makes the earth much healthier, but also gives obsolete items a second lease on life.
Avoiding plastic bags is a way to protect our environment. We shouldn't recklessly throw away plastic bags because they will cause environmental pollution.
Now you all have your reusable chopsticks. Don't forget to use them during your stay in Taiwan, alright?
A pair of chopsticks is not only a souvenir, but also a symbol of the beginning of the students' environmental mission.
Recently, a Tzu Chi volunteer training seminar was held in Banqiao, New Taipei City. As part of the training, volunteers took the trainees on a visit to a community recycling event. Spending the day sorting recyclables has helped the soon-to-be commissioners gain a better understanding of how to reduce, reuse and recycle.
For example, if this battery corrodes and leaks, it will pollute 1 square meter of land.
Thanks to these local recycling volunteers, the trainees now better understand the dangers of old batteries.
Today, I have come to realize that a small battery can have a large environmental impact if just thrown away. If you take all the water I have used in this lifetime, and if you say today I carelessly throw away a battery, will I have water to use in the next lifetime? Thinking like this, I am more aware of how scary cause and effect can be.
Members of the Banqiao District Tzu Chi Volunteer Training Seminar are here today to work with recycling volunteers to better understand how to sort recyclables. Even those who have some experience in recycling find the time to be instructional.
I actually have been recycling for 2 to 3 years, but it was only today that I learned the 10 points of recycling. As a mnemonic, it helps us remember what recyclables go where quite easily. Through sorting, recyclables become gold. Conversely, without sorting, they are just garbage. So doing this work has a lot of meaning.
Although in no time everyone is covered in sweat as they get down to work, there is a joy in their hearts as they are not only cleaning up garbage but purifying their minds.
In sorting recyclables, I always used to be afraid of dirty things, but if our intent comes from our heart, that is to say, we first purify our hearts, then whether it is your hand or foot or clothing that touches the recyclables, it doesn't matter. You can just wash it off when you get home, but the mind remains untouched.
In the act of recycling, one should strive to work on one's mind as well. So on the outside, we are recycling, but on the inside, we are actually purifying our hearts and minds.
Thanks to the day's events, the trainees go home with a clear idea on how to sort recyclables and purify their minds at the same time.
Moving to Taipei, the Yangming Home for the Disabled came up with a screening index to prevent the physically and mentally handicapped from choking on their food. Let's take a look.
To educate members of the public on how to better take care of people that are mentally challenged, the Yangming Home for the Disabled came up with this screening process.
If we are not careful, our students may choke on their food. This is something we take very seriously in our organization because most of our students are mentally challenged. These students are not very good at distinguishing what is okay for them to eat and what is not.
For mentally challenged people, most of them have difficulty swallowing their food. In the long term, they are more likely to lack nutrients, which may lead to osteoporosis. To prevent this from happening, staff members of Yangming Home for the Disabled came up with a screening process that can decrease the chance of students choking on their food.
We have established a screening index for food that is okay for our students to eat, that which is hard for them to eat, and so on. The screening procedure is not only good for our students that are mentally challenged, but also for the general public.
Stretching their arms and legs at the end of the seminar, the children show everyone an exercise to remind them to stay fit and healthy.
We stay in Taiwan at the end of today's program. A group of teachers and students from Hong Kong's Ping Shek Estate Catholic Primary School recently visited the Tzu Chi Nehu recycling station to learn about the organization's environmental work. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.